The illusion of a disturbed mind. Beloved ones, people come to me again and again, their faces tired, their eyes full of unrest, and they say, "Osho, my mind is never peaceful. Thoughts chase me day and night. Even when I sit silently, there is noise inside." And I tell them, "You are not disturbed. You only believe that you are disturbed." This belief itself creates the disturbance. You have been taught to think that peace is something extraordinary, something rare, something that must be achieved after great effort. From childhood you are trained to compete, to desire, to become someone else. Nobody tells you that your natural state is silence. So when the mind moves, you assume something has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. The mind is doing its job. The problem begins only when you start identifying with it. I have watched my own mind very closely. I did not condemn it. I did not try to purify it. I simply observed it like a scientist watching an experiment. Thoughts were coming, thoughts were going. Slowly a great revelation happened. I saw that the one who is watching is always calm. Thoughts may be restless, emotions may be stormy, but the watcher is untouched. You say, "My mind is disturbed." But who is saying this? It is already a step back. If you were truly the disturbance, you would not be able to see it. The very awareness that says, "I am disturbed," is itself peaceful. This is the illusion. You confuse the clouds with the sky. The sky is never disturbed by clouds, by storms, or by thunder. In the same way, your consciousness is never disturbed by thoughts. The world benefits from keeping you identified with your mind. A disturbed person is easy to control. A restless person is always searching outside. That is why religions, politicians, and societies rarely teach silence. Silence makes you free. Silence makes you dangerous to systems built on fear. Peace is not something to be manufactured. It is not the result of discipline or morality. It is already there, hidden behind your constant involvement with thinking. When you sit and say, "I want peace," the wanting itself becomes a new thought. And that thought again creates restlessness. Understand this deeply. You do not need to throw away thoughts. You only need to stop believing that they are you. The moment this understanding sinks into your heart, not as knowledge but as experience, a subtle shift happens. The mind continues its chatter, but you are no longer dragged by it. This is the beginning of real training. Not controlling the mind but seeing through its illusion. When this happens, peace is not something that comes and goes. It becomes your very ground. Why the mind resists peace, beloved ones, you must understand one very important thing. The mind is not interested in your peace. The mind is interested in its own survival. And peace is dangerous to the mind, because in peace the mind becomes unnecessary. When there is deep silence, thoughts lose their authority. The mind senses this threat and immediately creates disturbance. I have observed this again and again, both in myself and in those who come to me. The moment you sit silently, the mind becomes more active than ever. Suddenly memories appear that you had forgotten for years. Suddenly worries arise about things that do not even exist yet. This is not accidental. This is the mind's strategy to pull you back into noise. You ask, why does the mind resist peace? Because peace exposes the mind's emptiness. The mind has no substance of its own. It is only a collection of borrowed thoughts, learned ideas, and conditioned patterns. When there is silence, the mind feels naked, so it rushes to cover itself with activity. Society has also trained your mind to distrust silence. From early childhood, you are rewarded for doing, achieving, proving. Nobody appreciates your being. If a child sits silently, people become suspicious. They say something is wrong. Slowly, the mind learns that silence is dangerous and movement is safety. When I was young, I noticed this fear very clearly. Whenever I would sit quietly, people would ask, "What are you thinking?" They could not tolerate that someone could simply be. This fear is collective. The mind carries it as a deep conditioning. So when you approach peace, the mind panics. Another reason the mind resists peace is because peace dissolves your false identities. The mind lives through labels. I am successful. I am a failure. I am important. I am insignificant. In silence, these labels disappear, and the mind feels as if it is dying. That is why fear arises when you move toward inner stillness. Do not misunderstand this resistance as your failure. It is a sign that you are moving in the right direction. When the mind creates more noise, it means silence is coming closer. The mistake people make is that they start fighting the mind. Fighting only gives the mind more energy. I never fought my mind. I allowed it to show all its tricks. I watched patiently. Slowly the mind became tired of creating unnecessary drama. When it did not receive my attention, it lost its power. Attention is the food of the mind. Take it away, and the mind withers on its own. Remember, peace is not against the mind. Peace is beyond the mind. When you understand this, the resistance loses its grip. You stop being afraid of thoughts, and thoughts stop frightening you. And in this understanding, the first taste of real peace arises. Training without forcing, beloved ones. When you hear the words train your mind, immediately an idea of struggle arises. You think of control, discipline, suppression. You imagine sitting like a soldier, forcing thoughts to stop. This approach has destroyed more seekers than it has helped. The mind cannot be conquered by violence. Whatever you fight, you strengthen. I never trained my mind through force. I allowed it freedom, and in that freedom, a miracle happened. When the mind is not resisted, it slowly relaxes. Resistance creates tension. Acceptance creates space. And in that space, awareness flowers. Training the mind does not mean changing its content. It means changing your relationship with it. Thoughts will come. That is natural. But now you learn a new art. You watch without choice. You do not say this thought is good or this thought is bad. The moment you judge, you are again involved. Watching is neutral. Watching is pure. When you sit silently, the mind may become very noisy. Do not be disturbed. This is like a room that has been closed for years. When you open the windows, dust rises. The dust was already there. Your silence has not created it. Your silence has only revealed it. Just sit. Let thoughts move. You remain a watcher. Slowly something changes. The speed of thoughts decreases. The gaps between thoughts become longer. In those gaps, there is no effort, no desire, no fear. There is only being. I used to tell my sannyasins, meditation is not something you do. Meditation is something you allow. The more you try, the more you miss. The more you relax, the closer you are. This is the paradox of inner training. At night, before sleep, sit on your bed and watch your mind for a few minutes. Do not aim for peace. Do not aim for silence. Aiming is again desire. Just watch. In the beginning, it may feel useless. The mind will say, nothing is happening. This is another trick. Do not listen. Gradually, the mind learns a new habit. It learns that it is no longer the center. Awareness is the center. This training happens without effort, without struggle, without violence. It happens through love and patience. One day suddenly you will notice that thoughts come, but they no longer disturb you. The mind is there, but you are beyond it. This is true training, not making the mind obedient, but making yourself free. And once this freedom is tasted, peace is no longer fragile. It does not depend on situations. It becomes your inner climate. Becoming the witness, beloved ones, the most revolutionary discovery in the inner world is this simple truth. You are not the mind. You are the witness of the mind. Once this is not just understood intellectually but lived existentially, your whole relationship with life changes. From childhood you have been told who you are. Your name, your religion, your nationality, your success, your failures. Slowly the mind collects these identities and calls them me. But watch closely. These identities are changing every day. That which changes cannot be you. The witness is that which remains the same. I remember sitting silently for long hours, doing nothing, just watching. Thoughts came like crowds in a marketplace. Feelings arose like waves in the ocean. But slowly a distance appeared. I was here, watching, and the mind was there, performing its drama. This distance is freedom. When you become the witness, something strange happens. Situations remain the same, but your reactions change. Someone becomes angry. The mind wants to respond, but you are watching. In that watching, the reaction dissolves, not suppressed, but understood. Suppression creates inner conflict. Witnessing creates clarity. People think that witnessing will make them cold or indifferent. That is a misunderstanding. When you are no longer identified with the mind, love flows more purely. Reactions disappear, but responses become intelligent. When anger disappears but compassion arises. I have been praised and condemned. I have been loved and hated. But these waves never touched my center, not because I avoided them, but because I was watching them. The witness is like the eye of the cyclone. Around it there may be chaos, but at the center there is absolute stillness. Practice witnessing in small things. When you walk, watch the walking. When you eat, watch the eating. When you feel angry, watch the anger. Do not say I am angry. Say anger is present. This small change in language brings a great change in awareness. In the beginning, witnessing may feel artificial. The mind will say this is fake. Ignore the mind. Continue. Slowly, witnessing becomes natural. It becomes your default state. Once witnessing is established, peace becomes unshakable. Emotions come and go. Thoughts rise and fall, but you remain rooted in awareness. This is not something mystical. It is the most practical way to live. The witness is your true self. Discover it, and no storm can disturb you again. Peace in daily life, beloved ones. Many people think that peace is possible only in isolation, in the mountains, in monasteries, far away from the noise of the world. This is a misunderstanding. If peace depends on outer silence, then it will always be fragile. True peace is tested only in the marketplace. I have lived among people. I have spoken, laughed, argued, remained silent. I have been in crowds and in solitude. And I tell you from my own experience, peace does not come from running away. Peace comes from awareness. If you carry awareness, even noise becomes part of the music of life. Bring your meditation into small, ordinary acts. When you brush your teeth, be totally there. Feel the movement, the sensation, the taste. When you walk, feel each step touching the earth. These moments may look insignificant, but they build a continuous thread of presence throughout the day. People ask me, Osho, how long should we meditate? I tell them, meditate while drinking water, meditate while listening, meditate while speaking. If meditation is limited to a certain time, the rest of the day will undo it. Peace must become a lifestyle, not an event. Relationships are the greatest testing ground. When someone triggers you, do not escape. Watch, feel the reaction arising. Do not act immediately. In that small pause, consciousness enters. Slowly your relationships change, not because others change, but because you are no longer unconscious. Work does not destroy peace. Unconsciousness does. You can be busy and still be silent inside. You can sit idle and still be restless. Do not blame life. Use life as a mirror. I used to tell my people, do not try to look peaceful. Be peaceful. Looking peaceful is again ego. Being peaceful is natural. When peace is real, it does not need display. It has a quiet fragrance. There will be moments when you forget awareness. Do not feel guilty. Guilt is another form of unconsciousness. Simply remember again. Remembering is enough. Slowly, forgetting becomes less frequent. When peace becomes your background, even difficulties lose their sharpness. Pain may come, but suffering disappears. Problems remain, but anxiety vanishes. This is the miracle of lived awareness. This is how peace becomes unshakable. Not by escaping life, but by entering it totally, consciously, lovingly, the ultimate freedom. Beloved ones, when peace becomes unshakable, something very profound happens inside you. You no longer search for it. You no longer protect it. It is simply there, like your breath. This is the moment when freedom is born. Peace is no longer an achievement. It is your natural climate. People misunderstand freedom. They think freedom means doing whatever the mind wants. That is not freedom, that is slavery. Real freedom means you are no longer compelled by thoughts, emotions, or conditioning. They may arise, but they do not dominate you. I have lived in this freedom, not as a discipline, not as a philosophy, but as a lived reality. I wake up peaceful. I sleep peaceful. Between waking and sleeping, life happens, but it does not disturb my center. This is not because life is kind, but because I am no longer dependent on life for my inner state. When the mind becomes silent, love flows without effort. You do not try to be compassionate. Compassion happens. You do not practice kindness. Kindness becomes spontaneous. Morality imposed from outside creates hypocrisy. Silence from inside creates authenticity. This freedom also brings great responsibility. When you are unconscious, you can blame others. When you are conscious, you see clearly that your inner state is your own creation. This is not a burden, this is empowerment. Do not be in a hurry to reach this state. Hurry belongs to the mind. Let understanding deepen slowly. Let awareness spread like fragrance. Sudden effort creates tension. Gentle persistence creates transformation. There will be moments when old patterns return. Do not be discouraged. Even clouds return to the sky. But once you have known the sky, you are no longer deceived by the clouds. I tell you, the greatest revolution is inner. When one individual becomes peaceful, the world becomes slightly less violent. When many individuals become peaceful, the world changes without bloodshed. This is my message. Do not become someone else. Be yourself. Consciously drop the mind, not by force, but by understanding. And you will know a peace that nothing can shake, a freedom that nothing can destroy, and a joy that has no cause. This is the ultimate freedom.